fully go into what happened with the situation at first. LCS remains on schedule. Teams have been granted permission to sign additional players post-roster lock. Meanwhile, the NALCSPA is working to mitigate the signings. The LCS Players Association, LCS orgs are obligated to play due to contract with Riot. So, here. Okay, so the walkout vote has been overwhelmingly passed. It's not a decision LCS players have come to lightly. Countless discussions and debates were had between all LCS players in the week leading to this historic vote. One thing is clear from those conversations. Our players want to play and compete above all else. Joining hands to put competition aside is a testament to the significance and urgency of the issues at hand. We stand at this. Okay, hold on. We stand at this impasse because actions were taken by Riot without prior communication or discussion with the LCS players. The LCSPA sincerely hopes Riot will avert this walkout by joining us in the coming days to have an open and transparent discussion so that we can forge collaborative solutions and ensure the best futures for the LCS and NACL. So, what is it? It's like as far as I understand, correct me if I'm wrong. There's a minor league and then there's a major league, right? I'm using like really stupid terms here, but there's a minor league that you advance into the majors from, okay? And Riot decided to yeet the minor league without talking to the League Players Association, and that's how it's not a promotion. It's more so you're just farmed out from the amateur league into the majors. Right? Like you farm. They scout the minor leagues. It's similar to baseball in that regard. So, and the LCS pros, considering a lot of them are from that minor league that they were farmed out from, they're striking with their friends, just got fired when they were told they wouldn't. Plus, they use that system to get to pro in the first place. Getting rid of it ensures no more path to pro for native NA players. Okay. It used to be a promotion relegation system between the two until the franchise system came about. So, think of it if NA got rid of AAA baseball and only grab players from elsewhere. Here's the timeline with updates. Okay, this was a very long post that I didn't want to read, but I think it's good to get a better understanding of it. And organizations don't want it because they have franchise spots that they're paying a lot of money for, and they want to just like pick whoever they want. Is that what it is? Unfortunately, the LCSPA does not have even close to as much power as traditional sports player associations that are true unions. It's honestly going to be very difficult for the LCSPA to get the demands they want from Riot, given the current poor financial situation for all North American esports organizations and Riot's esports arm at the moment. If you need any specific details on the situation, let me know, says Slasher. Here's a recap of what's happening in NA with the LCS and NACL. NA Challengers League / Academy teams for those who haven't kept track. LCS teams have requested Riot to eliminate the requirement of fielding NACL teams. Riot has agreed to this request, citing the aim of achieving greater operational and financial flexibility. The LCS Players Association has highlighted that approximately 70 jobs may be lost as a result of this decision. They have criticized Riot for making contradictory statements and rushing the decision without proper planning and prior notice. They have also proposed an alternative plan. Out of the 10 LCS teams, only FlyQuest, Evil Geniuses, and Team Liquid have chosen to maintain their roster in the NACL, as the remaining 7 teams have decided to withdraw. In response to the changes made to the NACL, the LCSPA has called for a vote among LCS players to stage a walkout as a form of protest. That's fire. That's labor action. Respect. Last night, an overwhelming majority of LCS players voted in favor of the walkout. They will therefore not be playing in the LCS and can't be forced to do so. It has been reported that LCS teams will be obliged to field an LCS roster due to an agreement with Riot that mandates them to have competitive rosters. Consequently, they will need to sign new players to fulfill this requirement. However, the LCSPA, the Players Association, will attempt to mitigate those signings. To give more context, 50% of the current LCS players have been through the NACL. The economical situation of the LCS teams is very difficult, as it has been reported that many are trying to sell their spot. I also know from sources that salaries have been drastically reduced in the LCS this year. Sources also say that the cost to run an NACL team is around $1 million per year. However, the LCSPA alternative plan also addresses those issues. Additionally, each LCS team has been given $3 million by Riot in order to help them out for the LCS NACL this year. So, I don't really fully understand the dynamics here, but from what I understand, like Riot owns everything, right? Like they own literally everything. It's not like the NBA, it's not like the NFL. They just own everything, so they can do basically whatever the fuck they want. The amount of leverage they have is insane. They own the IP, they own the leagues, they own whatever the fuck they want, and right now, it seems like a lot of teams, a lot of franchise teams, a lot of league teams, and I mean, I think even the same goes for Valorant in some respects. Like they are, they're very, I mean, it's very expensive endeavor. They don't own the teams, but it doesn't matter because they own everything else. And given how financially not viable it is to currently manage a team, all of these organizations are trying to either A, sell their franchise spots, or B, disbanding their teams in general, right? Am I getting this correctly? But it's not like they can go and make their own league because it's League of Legends. Riot owns it. Riot owns the IP. Like, imagine if someone owned the IP of football. You know what I mean? Like, and like, if you wanted to go outside and throw the pigskin around, they were like, no, you can't do that. I've heard rumors that LCS teams are even trying to pick up the fired NACL players to fill the walkout players' spots. Riot sees esports as a marketing division and is incredibly protective over their control over their product. It's also important to remember that League is way more popular in Asia, and the North American League has always been seen as extremely weak and even unproductive. So, Riot doesn't own the teams, but Riot owns the spots in its own league, and they sell those spots to other. Teams that buy those spots, and those spots are actually, if I'm not mistaken, pretty fucking expensive. So, some companies have decided to even sell those spots to other teams instead of maintaining a League of Legends team. Right? Is that correct?
Yeah, like on a serious note, it's really sad to see all the organizations just drop their NACL.
Riot caved into the team's wishes. All LCS teams were previously required to have a minor league team, but they removed that, and 7 out of 10 teams dropped their minor league squad, causing 70 jobs to be lost overnight. Riot owns even more in Valorant because the orgs didn't buy their spot like they had to in League. I own the IP of football. The teams own their spots in the LCS.
Teams. I mean, part of the reason why franchising was a thing, the whole reason that franchising started was because the teams leveraged the fact that franchising would allow them to explore North American talent. They would be able to build great rosters for the future. They would be able to invest in talent now that might not be great, give them the LCS experience, and then in like 2-3 years time they could be top tier players. But they weren't able to do this before because of relegations. You know, you were afraid to start one of these rookie players, a North American like a North American challenger player, challenger in terms of like, yeah, like in the Challengers League, you didn't want to start an academy player and have them run it down on stage and then you just lose your spot in the LCS because of it. It's one of the main things that was sold to you as fans. And then now they want to turn around and be like, you know what, guys, like we actually really do care about North American talent, but you know, times are tough, the economy is bad, so we're actually just going to destroy our fucking pipeline of North American talent ourselves. And somehow that's supposed to be okay. When these teams,
I love when people tell me about IW Dominate, like as though I don't know him personally, like as though I haven't hung out with him in the real world. Like, yes, I
mean, these teams have money.
IW
like,
Dominate, ain't no way,
in.
whatever.
It's just a choice, right? They don't think that they are going to make direct money off NACL. Like the way that they see it is like, are we going to be able to get enough in buyouts for the players in our NACL team to justify all of the salaries? And if the answer is no, then they're like, no, then there's no reason to actually continue with it. Yeah, it's tough, bro. I think that it's really a bad sign for North American LCS that you have everyone trying to sell, and then as soon as they voted, this is the first opportunity where you could not have a challengers team, an academy team in LCS history, right? Like it was part of franchising where they were required in the LCS contract to have.
I called him by his birth name, IW Dominate, more like IWW Dominate. Yeah.
You have everyone trying to sell, and then as soon as they voted, this is the first opportunity where you could not have a challengers team, an academy team in LCS history, right? Like it was part of franchising where they were required in the LCS contract to have an academy team. The first opportunity that they can actually dismiss their academy team fully, almost everyone's done it. Like 7 out of the 10 teams have done it. I don't know. It's tough. It's tough.
The only NACL is the salt that these gamers are crying, right? Gamers are gross and must be stopped. Riot is also now offering to pay the scabs more than the pros who are striking. Typical. Scabs are getting nearly twice the daily rate of an average LCS player at almost 2K a day, and that will most likely be average gold players, lol. Yeah. Esports is permanently hampered because all video games are IPs owned by corporations, giving them extreme leverage in all situations, says Slasher. The world's biggest esports organizations, such as 100 Thieves, C9, or FaZe, down lol, boo, Slasher, we phase up in this building, have barely any negotiating power against the publishers, let alone players themselves who are hung out to dry. The LCSPA is the first real-time players' rights are being fought for against a major game developer, but Riot has near unilateral control over the situation. Slasher, just DM me on Discord. Let's talk, and then you can do a better job of describing the situation to me because of my specifically anti-MOBA stance. This is making it very hard for me to comprehend exactly what's going on. Because I have a general distaste for MOBA, and I think that it turns normal humans into fucking freaks. You should make an esports team called the HasanAbis. Yeah, let me go and buy an esports team while this is what's happening. That seems like a good idea. That seems like a great idea. Yeah, what a great time to do that. Can't think of a better time to do that. I have a bridge to sell if you're in the market. Toast literally just bought. I messaged you on Discord. Toast is only losing $1 million per year on esports. I think is a good idea for a team. Yeah, that's insane. That seems insane. That's crazy. I can't begin to explain how crazy this is. I'm calling you. Hello? Hello? Can you hear me?
Hello.
Last